Hi, my name is Gijs Loning and I work for the leading Dutch outdoor magazine Op Pad. I'm here in Sunderland, UK, at the Berghaus head office. Berghaus was founded in 1966, so this year they are celebrating their 50 years anniversary. The name Berghaus is quite strange in UK language. Why? Well, Berghaus is a bad translation from the German word Berghütte, which means something like mountain cabin. Well, I'm very curious how this Berghütte looks on the inside. Follow me. That dog doesn't bite. Berghaus, they're only 50 years young, but in those 50 years they did some amazing things. European-wise, they're the first in a lot of innovations, and I'll show you which ones. Behind me, the history wall of Berghaus. In 1977, they came with the first European Gore-Tex jacket, the Mistral. Another invention from them is the hydrophobic down in 2011. And Berghaus has always been famous for good mountaineers testing their stuff. Peter and Gordon, the two founders of the company, and Sir Chris Bonington, one of the older testers for Berghaus. The younger generation is Leo Holding, 35 years old, and by any chance, I happen to spot him over there. Let's talk to him. Sorry to interrupt. Is it the last jacket you tested?
Yeah, this is a third prototype of the 8,000 meter Pro. This is the jacket I had with me in Greenland in the summer. Largely performed very well, you know, amazing hood, all these articulations.
Yeah.
Couple of tweaks that needed to be changed before it finally gets
One
to the
silly
market.
thing.
This is the main problem I had on this jacket. It's like the system works, but if you pull it too hard,
yeah.
which is not the kind of thing you want for a consumer.
So that's something, James, you will be correcting.
Yeah, absolutely. This
Okay.
is why we field test.
Yeah. We'll talk about field testing in the lab later.
Cool.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
But first we're going to talk about sustainability. Elaine, how green is Berghaus?
So here at Berghuis we have a corporate responsibility programme that we call Made Kind, and that's all about making performance gear as responsibly as possible. And what we do is we look at the whole life cycle of the product and have different programmes at different stages of the life cycle, from design through to operations, how the product's used, and how it gets disposed of at the end of the life cycle.
Okay, and what's got Blue Sign to do with it?
Well, over the last few seasons we've really been focusing on the issue of water. Water scarcity is a big issue around the world at the moment, and the textile industry unfortunately is a large contributor to that, with about 20% of global water pollution being attributed to the global textile industry. So we want to be working with the most responsible suppliers in that industry, and Blue Sign helps us to do that. Last year we became the first British brand to join the Blue Sign system, and what they do is they help us go down through the supply chain to make sure that chemicals are managed responsibly throughout the supply chain. So when consumers are buying these products, they can be safe in the knowledge that it's safe for them, that the chemicals have been handled safely in the factories, and that pollution from those chemicals has been minimised in those factories.
Okay, and now I see water is a very important thing. 100% waterproof, less water used, less chemicals.
Yeah.
But what's Colour Kind got to do with this?
Yeah, so Colour Kind is one of the other great initiatives that are related to water, as you mentioned. And what we're doing there, it's a fabric that we've had in our collection now for a couple of seasons, and it totally changes the way that you dye fabrics. It takes the dyeing process from the end and puts it all the way back to the beginning, taking out the big section at the end, which involves huge amounts of water and chemicals and energy, and putting the dye right into the pigments, into the plastic pellets at the beginning of the process.
Okay.
And what that does is eliminates the need for most of the water, reduces substantially the amount of chemicals you need, and has huge energy savings, which result in carbon dioxide savings as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Berghaus is pretty green.
It's green. There's a few. We have some good lineup coming up in the next few seasons, but there's still lots to go. I don't think anybody can claim to be there already.
Yeah.
Lots to go, but I think there's some exciting products in the lineup coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see if James is available now, because he knows what's coming up for next season. Now let's find James. And I spotted him. James,
Hi.
you know everything about innovation and Berghaus, but what's the relation between Berghaus and Mountain House?
Mountain House is our long lead time design and development centre, our innovation team. So we do the R&D for Berghaus.
Okay. And what's the picture we're looking at the moment? This is a good example of the innovation of Mountain House?
Yeah, so one of the major things we work around is body mapping and bringing science into product development. What you can see here is some images we got in Greenland back in 2012. And this is the darker the areas, the colder the body. And you can see how we translate this into products. So this is the down suit that we developed, but I'm now thinking about the new Ramsey jacket.
Yeah.
So you can see there's a higher fill power in the red areas, which correspond with the cold areas of the body, and a mid-fill area in the orange areas, which correspond with the kind of the average heat zones. The only anomaly being the back, because we know that having not enough down here affects the temperature of the whole body.
That's true. Yeah, okay. But this is a computer screen?
Yes.
Do you have one in real life?
Yes, let's go to the lab and show you something. This is Donna, our Mountain House research and construction engineer. Do you just want to explain to the guys what you're doing here, Donna?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm just doing some research on some variable downfill to try and see what the optimum weight of down is used in some set baffle volumes. And having this down chamber here means that we can construct it in our sample room, we can fill it in here, and I can use these scientific scales that we've got inside this down chamber. Allows me to weigh out the precise weights of down, and I've got a variety of different weights in each baffle. I can then take it over to the lab and they'll tell me every different one what the warmth is for each one, so you can see the difference that the slight weight variations makes on the baffle warmth.
Okay, well that means that I'll probably have to go to Dan into the lab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Dan, you're the material specialist at Mountain House or Berghaus. Can you explain me how does the lab test new materials?
Well, in the lab here we've got kind of a standard set of textile tests, so you can test any outdoor material for a series of different properties. So for something like the Ramsey, one of the main things we wanted to do is make it stronger. So to test how strong a fabric is, there's several different ways we can do that. One is using a tear strength, so that measures how easy a fabric is to tear apart once a rip has started. So we do that by cutting a fabric and using a machine to pull it apart, measuring the force it takes to rip through those yarns.
And how do you test the resistance basically, or the quality of the whole material, the face material?
Yeah, so the face material again is tested in lots of different ways. One of the key tests for that is abrasion resistance. So to test that, we use small discs of the fabric you want to test, and they get rubbed against an abrasive surface using the machine up until about 25,000 times. And then the final test for specifically for down jackets is to make sure that the fabric's substantial enough to keep the down inside. Again, we've got another machine and it squashes it and rubs it together, and then you can assess it afterwards to make sure that you haven't seen any feathers starting to come out of that pillow. And by doing that, you can then be sure that when you put it into a jacket, you're not going to get the same thing.
Well, a day here at Berghaus, I've learned about their sustainability, about blue sign and about color kind. And I know how to make their down jackets and how they test them. But now the proof is in the pudding. James, do you have a test jacket for me?
Of course.
This is cool.
Yeah. So here you go. Ramsey
Okay.
2.0.
Thanks a lot. I'm off to the
for coming.
Alps.
Goodbye.
Bye.